day 107. Hope everyone had a beautiful day. And I was just reflecting on everything that I did today, which I'm really grateful that I'm able to create content for you guys. But something that I talk about a lot is detachment. Let's talk about detachment. What does that really mean? Well, to me, it means just not caring about the things that once didn't bring any value to my life. Detachment from everything that I desire as well. I desire money, but I have to detach from it. The more that I give, the more that I will receive, but it's not even expecting anything from the world, because the world, the universe, God doesn't owe me anything. God has given me enough to at least be in this world and be alive. But instead of my life of growing up, instead of being grateful, I looked for ways to constantly get out of self. I started drinking at 12, ended up in IOP programs because my mom would send me, ended up at rehab at 18, and everything I do today is not about me anymore. It's about, understanding that, making you guys understand, like, if you've been through what I've been through, like damn, I can really understand with this guy. I can really relate to this guy. Not understand, I can really relate to this guy, right? And I can literally undo this video and redo it again because I want to sound perfect. No, I don't care about sounding perfect. I've tried so hard my whole life to be recognized or be perfect for everybody around me, when in reality, no one really cares. The only person that cares is myself, and the only person that criticizes me is me, right? And so I'm here to tell my story, and what a time to be alive. Personal branding, online coaching is a thing. But I don't want to just be like every online coach in the world that comes onto this and becomes a life coach or a mentor. I actually want to care about the people that I work with. And so clients are going to come when they're meant to come, because what's for me is already mine, right? Gas on the pedal and no brakes, that's just really it. But as I create this personal brand, it's more of an appearance that I'm creating for myself. And starting to drink at 12 years old is the truth of it all. I didn't care about any of this. Only thing that I really cared about was just being part of the human experience, having friends, something that I never had as a little kid. My play dates were made up. Most of the time, I spent a lot of time alone. I didn't play sports, nothing. Like, I just, I came here at 7 years old from Central America, and I'm sharing this from the bottom of my heart. Like, that was my experience, right? And then grew up in Honduras, 1 to 7, came here at 7. That culture shock was nuts, and the past is just a part of me, but it doesn't define me for who I am today. So I'm not here to tell my story so for you guys to feel bad for me. I'm here to share my story so some of you are able to relate with me, if it comes across the right people. And if it doesn't, I don't really care. It comes down to the fact that I tried to do something cool, right? Whatever, it doesn't matter. But the more that I tell my story, the more profound it's going to be. That's just the reality. The more profound it's going to be, that's just the reality. Come to the realization fact that no one cares. No one. One day I'm going to be 10 feet underground, and that's it. That's just the reality. But the fact that Freddie tried, that's all that matters. But, in Honduras, I was destined to be nothing. Teacher said he has a learning disability. What kind of learning disability did I have? Truth is, my dad came here at 3, and my dad come here when I was 3. I remember being in a situation where I woke up. I was sleeping with my parents at the time, and I woke up and we were in my grandma's living room. And I remember my dad got up, and I was following him. I was just touching the couch, and my mom hold me back. They hold me back, and my dad got in a truck, in the back of a truck with my uncle, and I never saw my dad again. I mean, I saw him again later on, but that was not a learning disability. I was questioning where the hell my dad went, and that's why I was like in Space Jam in school, because I already was questioning my entire life. And they tried to protect me, but instead, there was no protection. Instead, it just left me with an empty void of understanding where my father went, right? But I came to realize he came to the U.S. when I was 3, but the communication just wasn't profound. But it's fine, it happens. And the truth of it all is that my parents didn't have a guidebook. If I'm sharing this right now, it sounds like I'm resentful, but it is what it is, bro. Life happens. And I'll be honest, there was a long time in my life that I did live in resentment. Not because of that, but like my upbringing. My mom was very protective. She didn't allow me to do a whole lot. And it stopped me from actually evolving the way that I was supposed to evolve, you know? And that's fine. If anything, I grew up very emotional because I was around women all the time. My grandma, my aunts. It's fine. I love them so much today. I'm so grateful for my whole experience, because if it wasn't for my experiences, I wouldn't be here telling you guys my story, right? And so that's the beauty of it. If I'm able to help others and serve others through my story, that's the only thing I care about. I don't care about anything else. I don't care about anything in this world. None of it matters to me, right? None of it. None of it. I've lived through a point in my life where I looked to fully disappear, or looked for, how can I, like, literally from 12 to 19 or 20, my obsession was my own suicidal thoughts. And by the grace of God, I'm here. By the grace of God, those thoughts have been lifted off me. Like, I don't think like that anymore. And there's a part of me where I don't want to post this video, but in not wanting to post this video, I'm thinking of self. I'm thinking of Freddie. Oh, what are people going to think? Who's going to come across this video? And I can screw myself over. No, it's not about me anymore. It's about helping others and be coming across people that could be like, wow, I can totally relate with this guy, you know? And so, you know, from 7 to 11, when I came here, trials and tribulations between my parents and I. They were young, man. They didn't know better. They were 32 at the time, and I saw a lot of things that I should have not seen as a kid. And it happens. That's life, right? And boom, at 12 years old, I was just like, I can't wait to be older and just start drinking. And I mean, growing up, you know, in the Hispanic culture, like, family parties is a big thing. People are drinking all the time. I knew that my mom had that fear of me ever getting into that lifestyle, though, because my grandpa died from alcoholism. That's just the reality. You know, I'm not here to put my family in the back burner, but I'm just here to tell my truth. I'm just here to tell you guys what I had to go through in order to where I'm at today. Because it's not rainbows and sunshines. You know, it's not. And coming to a town where there's a lot of wealth, and there's a lot of wealthy people, man, I was like, damn, I wanted to be like those kids, you know? And so the reality of it all is that I was not those kids, but I tried so hard to become those kids, you know? When I came here, my mom was like, yeah, just make friends, and some things are just not meant to be said. And I went with that. So my biggest analogy is fake it till you make it. Fake it till you make it. Because you're going to make it regardless. As long as you have that belief within yourself. Literally. No one cares. You're capable of doing anything you put your mind to. And yeah, I just faked it till I made it, right? And I tried to just be friendly with everybody. My first couple of days in school, you know, I got caught peeing in the playground. Because in Central America, that's normal. Kids pee all the time outside. I got in trouble for that. I was like 8. And yeah, man, I remember by the time I was in middle school, like 3rd or 5th grade, I tried to be in friends with all the white kids. And in middle school, that was my obsession, of becoming friends with all the white kids. But I never felt accepted. But my own human desire as a little kid was to just be super social and be around all the cool kids. But also something that I spent my time a lot doing growing up was watching a lot of TV, watching a lot of movies. And you know what I saw in movies? All the cool kids were getting drunk. All the cool kids were being bullies. So I'm like, oh, that's what it is to be cool. So I just became a bully growing up. You know, I was just a bully. By the time I was in middle school, I would try to tell people that, yeah, I smoke, I drink, because I just wanted to be liked. I wanted to feel welcomed. I wanted to feel accepted. So instead of accepting self, I just looked for that outside validation. You know, and I went my whole life doing that. That instead of chasing the things that I needed to do in order to improve and become the person that I was always meant to be, I just chased the things that brought no value into my life. Can I live in regret? Yeah, if I didn't have an open mind. But I choose not to live in regret, because that's just the story of, that's my story. That's my story. I started drinking at 12. At 18, I was in rehab. And at 20, you know, at 19, I asked myself, do I want to be a fucking bum for the rest of my life? Do I want to end up homeless? I had a choice. 6 months later, I stopped drinking. But what led me to not drink anymore? I found this obsession towards the gym. I wanted to do bodybuilding. And boom, the gym saved my life. Why did I get sober? I wanted to eventually take steroids. Did I take them? No, because I started learning about myself. And as I learned about myself, it allowed me to stay in not in a tunnel vision, but it allowed me to get sober. But even in my own sobriety, I didn't do it for the spiritual aspect. But even then, before AA, I had this God moment, and it was kind of like, it's either church or AA. I picked AA because I grew up Catholic, and my whole life in a church setting, I always felt judged. Why do I want to be judged by other human beings? I don't care. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, bro. It doesn't matter. Because I look at it this way today. If you're not paying for my bills, right? If you're not paying for my bills, if you're not making me food, if you're not reading me a story at night before I go to bed, why should I care about your opinion? I should not. I should not. That's just the reality. You know, and for so long, I cared so much about what others thought about me. For what? Only to lose myself. Only to become somebody that I wasn't. Only to become somebody that I wasn't. Right, you probably just heard that accent right there too, right? But anyways, I talk with so much passion, and I talk with so much drive because I'm at a point in my life where I know what I want in life, but I come to the realization of the fact that it's not about what I want, it's about what I already have, right? And the story behind it all is that I'm just here today, and that's what matters. But the gym got me sober, and you know, what did I chase in those 20 months of sobriety? The relationship, the girls, the gym. That I ended up drinking again, okay? I ended up drinking. I got drunk, and yeah, I went out for a weekend, and I realized that, wow, this is not the life. This is not it, man. I remember being in a really bad situation, and I'm like, yep, this is where my life goes to crap forever. And I remember coming home the next day. I just went out for a weekend, like I said. And coming home the next day, my parents, they just looked at me weird. And I went into the room, and in that situation, I remember going in the room and just talking to myself like, damn, what I learned in the program, because I'm in AA, what did I learn in the program is not to lie, right? Not to lie. So I went to my parents, and I'm like, I effed up. I told them I effed up, you know, and they're like, well, you're 21 now, and so you have the choice to do whatever you want, but we're not going to put up with it, you know. But thank God they allowed me to stay home. They allowed me to see it through, and today I have 7 years sober, and I wouldn't look back. And even then, I still take life for granted sometimes. But I'm human. I'm not perfect. And I don't choose to be perfect. I don't care to be perfect. Because my whole life, all I cared about was to please others. All I cared about was acceptance. All I cared about was wanting to be a part of, when I never felt a part of. I didn't get sober for myself. I got sober for my family. But today, I do it for myself. Because if I can't take care of myself, how am I going to be able to take care of others? If I cannot take care of myself, how am I going to be able to take care of others? If I can't take care of myself, how am I going to be able to take care of others? I remember before I started creating content, I told myself, if I can't love myself, I'm going to start loving others. And boom, I started creating. I have not looked back since. My life has changed dramatically. But today I also choose to love myself. Because if I don't love myself, then there's no leader, there's nothing. I am nothing. But I can tell you this right now, I am nothing. I am nothing without God. For some reason, He wants me here. And as for that, I'll stay as long as he wants me. I'll stay here as long as I have to, right? Or as he wants me. God's will is never mine. I could say I'm here for a good time, not a long time, but I'm here as long as God needs me here. Not wants, needs me. There's a difference. If you're at a place of want, be aware of the fact that you already have what you need. Basics, the fundamentals. If you're not aware of your needs, how are you going to be able to obtain your wants? There's a massive difference, right? So that's a storyline for me, 16 minutes deep. I love you guys. I hope you guys get something out of my content. Hey, and listen, the more that I tell my story, the more profound it's going to be. So, love you guys again, and I'll see you guys on the flip side. Peace.